Hey, how's everybody doing?
Hey, good seeing you.
Of course, you get to see my room because I don't have my background on because I updated, and of course, it turned my back. Later. How's everybody doing this Friday? Have a good Friday.
Fine.
Oh, the excitement is palatable here.
Yeah.
You can, boom. It's been. I want to thank everybody for coming. Some of you have been to our shows before. We appreciate that. Some of you are new. We appreciate that as well. If you haven't already, you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram under Button Down Comedy. Please feel free to do so. The comics will be putting out their social media as the show goes on. If you want to follow them, also please do that. We will also post two donation links. There's by no means a requirement. This is a free show. We love having people here. We don't want to turn anybody from coming. But if you do have a good time and you want to send a few dollars their way, please do, because it's been a rough 2 years. These are people that have to go to clubs and bars and they haven't been able to. So it was, when you have the means that you want to earn a living kind of cut off for 2 years, it's tough. It's really tough. So we set up two choices. We have PayPal.me/BD comedy, Cash App, $ Button Down Comedy. Anything that goes to either of those goes to the comics. So if you feel the desire, please do that. Regardless, if you have a good time, please spread the word. We want to see more smiling faces. We want to hear more laughter. Speaking of laughter, if your microphone is not on and you don't have a lot of background noise, please turn it on. We'd love to hear you laugh. If you want to open up your video so we can see you laugh, that would be great too. But we understand some of you are probably in your pajamas sitting on the couch eating potato chips. You may not want to see. We're fine. We're fine seeing you eat potato chips. We don't mind seeing you in your pajamas. As long as you have pajamas, please. Don't have pajamas on, leave your video off. This is not that kind of show. I've been watching the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I'm seeing a lot of Elmer Fudd and Bugs Bunny because we have tanks being towed away by farmers. We have Chernobyl being taken. They dug trenches and their soldiers get radiation poisoning. I mean, I envision the Ukraine people saying, hey, no, you're not getting Chernobyl. No, we're not letting you have Chernobyl. We're not. We're drawing a line in the sand. You're not getting Chernobyl. Okay, fine. Take Chernobyl. Rabbit season, duck season, rabbit season. We're going to be very, very quiet. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. But it is amazing that Russia, this big military might, is being bested by farmers and citizens of a small country. I mean, there was one city that brought meals to the soldiers laced with poison, and the soldiers were like, food, thank you, and they ate and died. Did you really think they were going to welcome you with open arms? Oh, please take us. No. It's funny, but it's not funny. It's sad, but it's funny too. It's tough. So I'm a big fan of science fiction. Okay, you guys like science fiction?
Oh yeah.
Have you noticed that science fiction, they seem to like zero gravity sex? Always have the zero gravity. Ladies, let me be honest with you here. We men need a little traction. Okay, we need to have something to push off. Problem is, if you're having sex, if you push off, all of a sudden it's like having sex in a bouncy house. And have you ever looked at the sheets after sex? Do you really want that shit floating around? And imagine like, oh, there's no, from over there. So, no. Gravity on, have it. Just make sure we get out of the room first because we don't want to be under it when it falls. Think these things through. That's all I have to say. I am also a big fan of the conventions. I go to Dragon Con. Well, prior to COVID, I went to Dragon Con every year. And one year I finally decided I was going to make a costume. And I went out and I got that full from neck to toe bodysuit. Okay. Neoprene. I did splurge on the zipper, the crotch, because that's the pain to get off quickly. So you gotta pee. But I made a couple errors. First of all, neoprene is both directions. This was Atlanta in September. It was into the toes. I was squishing, but that's not my mistake. My biggest mistake: skin tight neoprene, scantily clad women. Okay, I gave out some dick pics that day. They were superhero dick pics, so maybe that's okay. I'll tell you, there was no greater satisfaction in my soul than when I saw the average Atlanta citizen on the bus when Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman walked on. They had no idea what was going on. What the? Yeah. But there were some things that happened that caught me off guard. There was a woman dressed as Captain Marvel proposing to a woman dressed as Wonder Woman. And I know 2022, okay, we're supposed to be progressive, open-minded. I know, but there are certain things that just go against nature. And I'm sorry. You can't mix Marvel and DC. It's just wrong. Just wrong. I know people like Disney. You guys like Disney?
Ooh.
I don't get Disney. I mean, they give us cookies shaped like Goofy, with shaped like Daisy Duck. They give us waffles shaped like Mickey, but then they kick me out when I'm eating Minnie. Okay, maybe it was the rotisserie and the fava beans. Okay, that got a little dark. I know. Let's turn a little more upbeat. Dick jokes. It's okay. Short bit. It won't last long. It's not very hard. But see, here's the thing. Comedy has a lot of dick jokes. But you know what we don't have? A lot of ball jokes. Balls do not get respect. They have a legitimate right. There they are hanging out with the guys. And what happens? The girls walk right by them to that tall, skinny prick every time.
Yeah.
And does he introduce us to the girls? No. Half the time he pushes us aside and introduces us to some asshole. And there we are, carrying his stuff. And what does he do? He leaves it in random socks wherever he can. My girlfriend actually thinks my dick is toothpaste. I mean, she'll put it in her mouth, she just won't swallow. my girlfriend, like, she told me that she wanted our relationship to be a fairy tale relationship. I wasn't quite sure what she meant until I saw 7 short guys in the bedroom. All right. That is my time. I've been boring you for a few minutes here. Let's get on to the show. All right, we need to. Of course, I was not prepared. I closed down the introduction. So hang on just a moment here. Let me get the introductions back up here so that I can introduce our comics. We have a good lineup for you. Our first comedian, as it comes up here, always takes longer when you wait, you know. That's
Yeah,
fine.
I'm here. I'm a
I have-
cat now. I'm totally a cat. I was a cat the whole time. You didn't know that about me, did you? That I'm a cat, and not just. I'm a cat, and I'm also a floating anonymous pair of fingers that aren't attached to a human. That's my true form. You didn't know that until the show started, but fortunately, I'm still funny, so we can work with this.
Funny thing is our one comic was running a little late, and she left a message. She said that she had a sick server go home, and I'm in computer, so I hear sick server. I think, oh my god, their server's down. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, the 6 went go home. What with it? They took the server and took. Oh shit. Okay, person server. Got it. Okay. It's all based on what you're used to, the phrases you're used to hearing, and I'm not used to hearing person server. You know, what can I say? All right, here we go. Let's go. So our next performer, he is performing in the DC Improv on April 10th. Please give it up for Thomas Dykes.
Woo! Yay me! Yay me! Oh my gosh, that doesn't look good. Stuff. I'm gonna do my jokes as a cat with fingers on top of his head until I have to do the jokes that have to involve my appearance. And there aren't actually that many of them. There's just one of them. So let's just roll with this for now. Okay. I was worrying about my weight, so I started this great new workout plan where I run from my problems. I'm slimming down fast, people. I'm slimming down fast. I was watching sports. The guy's name was Caesar to Jesus. Oh, okay, bye. I'm going back to human form. If Bear comes back, the show can be about him again. But for now, I think it's good for now. Anyway, I was watching sports. The guy's name was Caesar to Jesus. Nope. One person. If your last name is Jesus, maybe you don't name your kid after the leader of the people who killed Jesus. Okay, I've got some people here. It's like I'm watching sports and Hitler Goldstein has the ball. What's going on? Like, why? I'm Jewish. I'm allowed to say that. Don't worry about it. So the thing about Nazis, because why not start a joke there, is that they can't really do anything to Jews right now. So for now, they're just listing, categorizing, putting little stars of David next to pictures of Jews, but they're not going to get everybody. Do you know why? Because none of y'all knew I was Jewish until one joke ago. That's why. It's true. Y'all thought I looked Amish. My disguise is perfect. Pennsylvania is 2 hours away from where I am. I am never getting caught. Never. So I don't understand Proud Boys, right? Because like old school German Nazis are like, we have to protect the German race. But Proud Boys are like, we have to protect this mix of the English and the Scottish and the Irish and the French and the Spanish and the Portuguese and the Germans and the Austrians and the Hungarians and the Polish and the Belgians and the Dutch and the Liechtensteinish and the Luxembourgish and the Swedes and the Swiss and the Finns and the Norwegians and the Italians and the Sicilians and the Czechs and the Slovakians and the Slovenians and the Bosnians and the Serbians and the Herzegovinians and the Greeks and the Macedonians and the Romanians and the Bulgarians and the Russians and the Ukrainians and the Latvians, the Estonians, the Lithuanians, the Belarusians. I lost count. There's 39. There's 39 kinds of white people.
Oh,
Can't have a master race ideology with 39 parts in it, can you?
No.
What you gonna do? Form racist Avengers? Come on. And even if you did, you just run into Jewish Thanos. You kill 2/3 of the Proud Boys and go revenge, bitch. So no, even that's not gonna be a thing. Okay, and some people don't like that joke. Holocaust jokes are an acquired taste. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I don't know, man. I was on my way back from a place where I got a thing. You don't need to know either of them. Guy walks past me, right, on the way back. He goes, "Where'd you get that? The place. How much did it cost? Money." He walks off. And then I got his number and fucked him. You're gonna start noticing that I don't have, I'm like, my brain is totally scattered brain, so nothing has to do with anything and everything's totally disassociated. Anyway, I feel like I look like a Pokemon trainer whose life didn't work out. Yeah, man. Like back when I was young, I was ambitious, trying to get all 151 Pokemon. Now I'm this mediocre coasting adult browsing 100 categories on Pornhub, man. It's just all been downhill. So I turn on my Pokemon game. I roll into town. I trade a Drowsy for a Machop. I try to go to the gym. The gym leader kicks my ass. We think he'll skip my leader to go to the next, dip that gym, go to the next town. But there's this weird tree in the way, and I look it up online. I have to go back there, level up, beat the gym leader, go next door to get the item that gets the tree out of the way. And then I got to the next town. I saved my game. I turned it off, and I got my dick sucked.
Oh, Jesus.
I didn't think the story was going to end there either. I didn't think that was going to happen, man. Yeah, you know what's more embarrassing than being 31 and playing Pokemon? Is being 35 and fucking someone who still plays Pokemon. That's how that goes. Okay, you all want to hear more white people jokes. I wish I had more. Anyway, yeah, man, I have Crohn's disease, AKA Jewish gut disease. And something they don't tell you about Crohn's is like, you get this, like, when you have Crohn's, you got this, like I got like a wet butthole situation going on. Like, okay, it's bad. I don't have the Hershey Highway. I have the Hershey Autobahn. Like, it's really unfortunate. It's just sad. Like, my ass is self-lubricating and I'm straight. What's the point of that? Like, why? But like, it's okay though, because I make like special pads now that specifically go up your butt to soak all that shit up, literally. Right. And like, I would look for a butt tampon, but I'm not into pegging. So I don't think, yeah. So I don't know. They're giving Jewish holidays off more, but they're giving the wrong days off. They're giving the wrong days off. So they're giving off Yom Kippur, right? They're giving off Yom Kippur. And so Yom Kippur is this day where you talk about your trials and tribulations, about all the things you've done, just so you can, start the next year on a clean slate. Why the fuck are you giving me that day off? I'm gonna feel like shit. I want to do that on the company dime, okay? Like, why? Like, if you're gonna if you're gonna give a Jewish holiday off, give me the last night of Hanukkah, okay? If I'm gonna have my day off, I want to be double fisting bottles of Manischewitz, teaching Gentiles how to play dreidel, okay? That's what I want to be doing. Okay, so what else? So I support the Me Too movement, right? So Bob Barker, the Price is Right guy, he would insist that all the models come on down to his office or get fired, right? Bob Barker was always talking about, please spay and neuter your pets. Why didn't someone neuter Bob Barker? Okay, thank you for the sympathy giggle. Okay, what else, man? That's cool. They don't all have to work. So where do I start? So I was fucking this chick. That was it. That's how this joke starts. I was fucking this chick and I laugh at something during sex, right? And she looks at me funny and I look at her funny for looking at me funny. So, and it just was weird because it never occurred to me it would be weird to laugh during sex because, well, in order to explain further, I have to go into another story. So I was a virgin in college. This hot chick really wants to fuck me, and she's skipping class with my friend. And she's like, man, I really want to fuck Tom. My friend's like, yeah, you should do that. She says, every time I walk up to him, he's being weird and walking away. My friend goes, yeah, he is weird. He's autistic. You should fuck him. It'll make him less autistic.
God.
So she gets me to her place. We watch a movie. She gets on top of me, and I don't have to switch the story, but I'm just going to do so because I'm in charge here. Fuck it. Round of applause if you know who Jimmy Page is.
Who?
Okay, round of applause if you know who Led Zeppelin is. Okay, cool. Jimmy Page was the lead guitarist of Led Zeppelin. After a long day's work stealing music from Black people, Jimmy Page went to the bar. Posted up at the bar is Lori Maddox, a model and child, 14 years old. 14, right? Now, if I hit on a kid for some reason and she found out, I think her reaction would be something like, no.
And that's the joke.
I ain't coming back till more of y'all laugh. But instead, she said, oh my God, I get to date Jimmy Page. So let's segue back to the previous story. Me and this chick have fucked our way to the end of the record. The record is Led Zeppelin, Physical Graffiti, Disc 2. The last song comes on. From the window, get rid of limousine. I saw your pretty blue eyes. One day soon, you're gonna reach 16, painted lady in the city of lies. Chick laughs hard, okay? But it's okay to laugh during sex because I'm not the butt of the joke. What's funny is that 8 million people bought this record. And as far as I can tell, all 8 million went, oh, Jimmy, you silly pedophile goose, you. Wah, wah. I feel like the joke has like a real wah, wah feeling at the end. I don't know. That's good. Okay, I'm going to tell a Bible story, and then that will be the end of my set. You've all been wonderful. Round of applause if you know what the walls of Jericho are. Or you've heard of the walls of Jericho. Okay, round of applause if you remember what happened. Okay, I don't get applause on Zoom. I forget that. Okay. The Jews of Israel have returned. Moses is no longer in charge as Joshua, and God is speaking to him. He's going, Joshua, my child, congratulations, you've reached the walls of Jericho. Thank you, my Lord, but how are you meant to scale these walls? Do you remember when I told Moses to do something ridiculous and he refused? Yes, my Lord. You're not going to do that, are you? No, my Lord. Good. Form a music troupe. You shall perform a song and dance by a prophet from another time around the walls 7 times, and they shall fall. My Lord will do it, but who's this prophet? What's this music we're meant to perform? The prophet's name is Lil Jon, and thou shalt get low. Okay, so I usually have like a mic stand to like instruct the crowd with, but like we're just gonna use this weed vape pen I have lying around. Okay, we're gonna try this. This is usually, I don't show you this on Zoom. We're gonna experiment. When I point to you guys, I'm gonna try to get y'all to say "I skeet skeet goddamn." Okay. Okay, cool.
What?
Let's practice it. I skeet skeet motherfuckers.
Skeet, skeet, goddamn.
I skeet skeet motherfuckers.
I don't know what you said.
Well, somebody was nailing it on the first try, but they appear to be laughing too hard. I don't know. Like I've never actually done this on Zoom before, but it's my best joke, so I said, "Fuck it." Okay, whatever. We're gonna do it my way. Okay. Here come the Jews around the walls of Jericho, well rehearsed but still lawful, going to the window, to the wall, to set you down my balls, make all these bitches crawl. I ski motherfuckers, I ski goddamn, I ski motherfuckers, I ski goddamn. The walls fall. Walls of Jericho fall. Before the Jews can come in and kill everyone, God sends as his messenger the angel Lil Jon. And he descends upon the battlefield with all of his magnificence and crunk, with like a bottle of Henny in one hand and a lit blunt in the other. And he descends and he speaks to the Jews and he says, "No!" And the Jews go, "What?" And Lil Jon goes, "No!" The Jews go, "Okay." And everybody goes home and lives happily ever after. And if you don't understand that last joke, Go just search Usher. You'll figure it out. I have faith in you. Okay, that's been all my material. My name's Tom Dykes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cool. Oh, I gotta go. I gotta hit another show. Thank you all. You've been great.
Thomas, before you go, I want to say that is the first time I've ever seen somebody blackmail the audience for laughs.
Right. Yeah. So that was fun. All right. See ya.
Oh, that was very good. That was good. Okay. Lise, are you okay? Right? Do we need to call 911 or 999? You're good. All right. Our next comic I actually met doing Zoom comedy. We were looking for something to do during the pandemic because we were stuck at home. And I think the funniest thing I still remember that's kind of become her tag is the Uncrustables, which I'm sure we'll hear more about in a little. If you want to give a big round of applause to Desiree Walsh.
Hello, it's really nice to be here. Before we start, just so everyone knows, I use a wheelchair. You just can't see it because of Zoom. I just didn't want anybody thinking I was doing like very specific, edgy material about disability and society as an able-bodied white woman. I have noticed society treats the disabled different, and I have a hot take. No, it is my real life, and I actually did really like the quarantine. I know that's a little bit odd sounding, but I liked it because none of you walkies touched me when I was out. Yeah, apparently in the before times, I look like a shopping cart to you people that needs to be returned to Walmart. Yes. I also liked the pandemic because I no longer had to listen to strangers' stories about their friends in wheelchairs in the grocery store. Yes, because in the before times, it was just like, I'm really sorry to hear about your friend Mark, but I do not have any wheelchair basketball information. I just don't have it. Also, it is midnight and I am buying 4 types of cheese in Garfield PJs. I am obviously high. Please leave me alone. I am not disabled Google unless you have acid. Then we can talk. Before the pandemic, I was lucky enough to go on a date. Well, it wasn't so much of a date as it was a man sat down beside me in a Starbucks and asked if I had any wheelchair basketball information for his friend Mark. And myself and this man got to talking about disability and the media, because apparently I don't like small talk and eating cheese out of a bag is not a hobby. It's a cry for help. And I told this man that I wish the media understood that people with disabilities did more than go to the bank and die. Yeah. Now I'm going to tell you where I work during the day. I work in a bank. I am the problem. I'm a living stereotype. For those of you who might not be aware, Canada, which is where I'm from, I just realized I didn't say that off the top, has banks in Canada have really good equity programs. So they often hire a lot of disabled people, and we are heavily featured in their media campaigns. The best jokes are the ones you have to explain. If you're not given a 9-minute TED Talk after every punchline, you're really doing it wrong. Don't ask any of the other comics. I am right. Yes. I like working at the bank though. People are always like, oh my God, it must be so hard, a career in finance. And it's really not. All you got to do is show up on time with a clean shirt and not touch anyone's bum. The pandemic's also made that considerably easier since I now live alone and also work from home. The other reason I like the bank is because it's very politically correct. I know people kind of poo-poo political correctness, but I like it because for 8 hours, none of you walkies asked me questions about wheelchair. And let me tell you, walkies, you are some nosy people. So I appreciate the peace and quiet. It does make it hard to make friends and form meaningful relationships. I had a coworker in the before times that I think kind of wanted to ask if I was single, but didn't know how to do it because he didn't want to get in trouble. So he chose his words very carefully and said this. So you've given up on men completely? And I said no, but I guess that's what I get for wearing a bathrobe and Crocs on Casual Friday. Also, the box of wine for lunch probably didn't help. To my credit, though, the Crocs were the ones with the rhinestones because I am a professional. After all, I recently got a new job at the bank. It's actually like directly helping make the bank more accessible for people with disabilities. However, we are still working from home, so none of my coworkers know I am disabled. And on my very first day, the woman who was training me was like, "Do you even know anything about disabilities or accessibility?" And I immediately went into all of my education, some of the jobs I've had that relate to it. Did not mention the 38 years of lived experience, just did not mention that. So now she thinks I'm a white woman who likes to help, who saw some disabled people in a park and was just like, "I'm coming to save you, disabled people. I'm coming to save you." This is how I think you run walkies. Yeah, I've never done it myself. So I think it's very angry from what I can tell. Yeah. I also don't have a closer for this joke, so I'm just gonna gently set my hands down and continue on to another topic. I have been doing a lot of Zoom shows with Americans, and I like it because I'm learning so much about America, as Geo was saying. For instance, did you all know New Jersey is a state? Because I sure didn't. For most of my life, I thought it was a suburb of New York. Turns out I was getting it mixed up with Staten Island. Yeah, I don't know very much about Staten Island, so I decided to Google it. And a tourism website with 13 interesting facts about Staten Island came up. And the best one, the most flattering, was that they have the largest garbage dump in the US. Isn't the garbage something we're supposed to be hiding from the tourists? Like, I'm from Toronto, and on our tourism websites, we talk about the lake and the Sky Dome and the CN Tower. My tourism website is from the 90s, so that's why the Sky Dome's on it. I think that's a joke for the one Canadian in here besides me. Yeah, but we leave out the negative stuff like the garbage, or that there's no affordable housing. It's not very wheelchair accessible, and we're kind of mean for a Canadian city. It's true. Other Canadian cities do not like us, but you should come see us. I'm also learning about the food in America. It is different. You guys have something called the Uncrustable. We don't have this in Canada. And for those of you who might not know what I'm talking about, it is a frozen peanut butter sandwich made by Smuckers. Yes. And I know what you're thinking because I am thinking it too. America, wouldn't it be easier to make a peanut butter sandwich? Because with an Uncrustable, you have to thaw it and cook it and then eat it.
Yeah.
It just seems like a lot of work. Recently I did this joke and an American comic was like, no, like, you don't have to thaw it or cook it. Just eat it frozen. And now I have more questions than I have answers, America. Because why am I paying money for the worst day of grade 2 when the ice pack fell on top of the sandwich? Why am I paying money for that? And then another comedian that was American was like, no, you don't eat it frozen. You just take it out of the freezer and you let it thaw naturally. And now I have the question, is it a friend or is it food? Because like, what do you mean? You just take it out of the freezer, cuddle it, hold it close, sing it Tana Dancer till it's the desired temperature you need. What I'm saying is I think Smucker's needs to be stopped between that and the Cooper grape. There's a lot of talk about what's wrong with America or what happened to America over the years. And quite frankly, as a person who only recently discovered New Jersey was a state and has said more than once over the pandemic, what's in New England again? And was surprised to learn that there are not 2 New York states. I don't believe I'm entitled to an opinion. But I do think it started with the invention of the uncrustable. The other thing I learned about America is the lexicon handicapped is still widely used in your country. That was really interesting to me because in English Canada, that's a bit of a slur, like we don't say that word. And you really shouldn't either, not because it's ignorant, but because someone might hear you and think you are from the 1980s and then get all excited because you obviously have a time machine to escape 2022. And they will be disappointed to discover you are just a dad with a trucker hat. Yeah. Fun fact, I wrote that joke in 2020 and it's still funny. The world's sad. And I know what you're thinking after that. Desiree, can I still use the word crippled? And yes, you can, except only certain people can say the word crippled. And you often don't know if you're one of those people till well after it is out of your mouth. And if you are in this audience thinking, I could probably say the word crippled. Yeah, I think that would be okay. You can't say the word crippled. You can't. If you think you can, you probably can't. On a personal note, I hate the term special needs because I think it sounds like the disabled are asking for a bowl of just green M&Ms. We are not asking for a bowl of just green M&Ms. I want the same resources as the walkies. I want this to be in the same places as the walkies without actually being a walkie, because that looks terrible. And I just want to have a fundraiser for you people. However, if you did have a bowl of green M&Ms, I would take them because I'm sure we can all agree green M&Ms are delicious. They really are. Just one more joke and then I will leave. Another fun fact about me is I have a wheelchair accessible house. For some reason, people find that really fascinating. What did you all think? I live in a 3-floor walk-up. Yeah, that's me. No, I live in a wheelchair accessible apartment, actually. I don't own a house, Toronto. Real estate is crazy. But it is not walkie accessible in that I don't have any chairs for you people. And I recently had one of you over and learned that apparently it is rude and obnoxious to offer you the toilet as a chair, even if I bring in retro snacks, Dunkaroos, and the laptop with the Netflix. I am still kind of an asshole. Yeah, I wouldn't mind actually if all of you got wheelchairs. I mean, I would wonder why so many people got wheelchairs, but it would actually help me out because then Toronto would probably be more accessible. Because they'd just be like, why are there so many people in wheelchairs now? Yeah. The only thing I do ask of you is that if you are going to buy a $7,000 wheelchair for fun, you do laundry from it. Yes, because I don't care who you are, it's the hardest thing to do as a disabled person. It is the only time I am ever like, why, God, why? Just kidding, there's no God. And on that heathen note, let's bring Geo back up. Yay!
Go. The thing I always love about being in a show with Desiree is that whenever she refers to us as walkies, it just makes you feel like I'm in a Star Wars film. You know? Makes me feel special. And you got to be careful. Those green and brown M&Ms now. It's a big. It's
oh,
a big.
yeah. I
Tucker
forgot.
comes now because they desexualized the brown and green
Yeah.
M&M, and they took them from the high heel stilettos to flats, and so the butts don't out as far anymore. And it's like, my question though is, Tucker's is in such a frizzy about this. Does he still get a hard on for the orange M&M? Aquarium, want to know.
Oh.
Our next comic is a wonderful comic from Portland, Oregon, and she is joining us. She has a message earlier about the 6 server. I don't know if she heard. When I heard, I'm in computers, so I heard 6 server. I said, "Oh my God, the server's down."
Oh.
Went home. I think, wait, they took the server home. Well, that's going to cause problems. Took me a second. All right, so please, a big round of applause for Marla Eyvette. Is it Massie?
Yes, it is.
Oh.
Hi, how is everybody doing?
Hey.
Can y'all see me? Okay, I
Yeah.
can see you now. All right, cool. All right. Yeah, surprise! Get the ethnic portion of tonight's programming started right off the fucking rip. I don't know what you guys were expecting. I know when you hear the name like Marla Massie living in Portland, Oregon, you think like, oh, she's gonna be some uppity ass white bitch all about privilege. Nope. If you're shocked, everybody I know is shocked. I am the affirmative action comedian of the night. So hi. A little bit about me. Yes, I currently live in Portland, Oregon, but I am originally from Cleveland, Ohio. Now, before you say anything, don't ask me if I know LeBron James. All right. Like, everybody ask me that shit. Like, I mean, I get why, but like, also why? I hope you guys know that Akron is a half hour away from Cleveland. Because we are both from the same state, or is it because we're both Black? But no cap, I actually do know LeBron James. So a little quick story. When I was in high school, I was in the 9th grade. LeBron was a few grades ahead of me. I do believe he was a junior. And his school came and just obliterated my school's basketball team. He went to St. Vincent St. Mary. I went to Cleveland Central Catholic. And we lost. The score was like 120 to like 12. It was bad. It was embarrassing. And I'm looking over to my right, and people at my school are cheering for LeBron. I'm like, what about the Iron Men? They're like, yeah, LeBron. I'm like, listen, y'all need to give this a rest. LeBron is not going to be the next number 23. He's not going to sign with the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's not going to get a Nike deal. All right, so just give it a rest. And now look who's the millionaire, LeBron James, the bajillionaire. And look at me, sitting in my very desolate room, no money, constantly poor, doing jokes online to viewers who will probably never see me again. So for the next 22 minutes, I will have your undivided attention. Or you could just click out and leave. I won't know. It's not like I get an alert or anything. It's like, Philip Lamar left the chat. All right, Phil, fine. Go fuck yourself. So I live in Portland. Right now, the weather is like, it's really nice, but like yesterday it was 70. Now it's like 50. So it gets a little cold, and I should be used to that because that's what the weather's like in Cleveland. All you got to do, like if you're cold, wait 5 minutes, then change it from the air conditioning to the heat, back to the air conditioning, and then there's like 8 feet of snow on the ground. It doesn't really snow. It doesn't snow here in Portland. If I want to be buried underneath a foot of snow here in Portland, I have to fuck a bunch of white guys. All right, that's the only.
Oh my God.
I was just recently home. I went back home to Cleveland for about a week, and literally Murphy's Law was in full effect. Like I hadn't even landed. The wheels literally just skidded to a halt at the airport when I get a phone call from my mom. It's like, Marla, we need to talk when you get in the car. I'm like, all right, cool. I get in the car. In the car is my sisters, my adult son, and my mother. My mother's furiously texting away on her phone. And I'm thinking, Mom, what is it? What do you have to tell us? And my little sister goes, Mom, are you pregnant? Because there's a flight of stairs I want to introduce you to. And we start laughing. We're like, ha, 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 ha. You know, mom's pregnant. And my mom sets her phone down. She looks at a stone face and she goes, yeah, your nephew just stabbed your aunt in the neck. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I just got home. Like, what the hell is going on? And I was like, do you mean he like stabbed her with a knife? And my mom's like, no, Marla, he stabbed her with a spoon. I was like, oh, that doesn't sound too bad. It's like, no, of course he stabbed her with a knife. It's right here in the shoulder area. I was like, ooh. So what are we gonna do about this? My mom's like, I want to take him in. I'm like, Mom, this little kid has a track record of stabbing elderly Black women. I don't think you want to take him in right now. And I mean, in my nephew's defense, he has special needs, and my mom isn't specifically trained to take care of special needs children. So I told her, I said, Mom, listen, I know this is like a crazy situation. It's okay. Let's it's 1 o'clock in the morning right now. So let's just reconvene in the morning. I'm very tired. I'm jet lagged. I've been flying for 6 hours. So bet we send my mom home. I go home with my sisters and son. I am dead asleep, dead ass fucking asleep, just rocking back Z's. When all of a sudden I get a knock, and then my son's running down the hallway. He's throwing his phone in my face. I'm like, what do you want, Jordan? What do you want? He goes, it's grandma. And I'm like, oh shit. Okay, cool. I'm like, hi mom, what's up? And she goes, yeah, can you get down to Walgreens? The Walgreens where your little sister works at, they were just robbed at gunpoint. I'm like, I just got home. Why is Cleveland like this? And I was like, oh yeah, I remember, because the sun is out and the weather's nice. That's what happens in Cleveland. Like when it's shitty weather for 8 straight months, the one sunny day, everybody just fucking wows out. It's like a full moon for like 10 straight days. I don't fucking get it. Which is why I'm glad I'm here in Portland, where like it's cloudy. It's cloudy a lot here. Because we're close to Seattle, you know, and it rains. Anyway, what can I tell you about myself? So I have a big family. I have a really large family. Like I was explaining how I have a total of 4 sisters and 4 brothers. There's 9 of us. I have 9 siblings. All right. My mom is the youngest of 13. I have a big fucking family. Do you know what that shit's like growing up? You know what it's like? It's not so much like having to share like space and time and TV and bathroom with a bunch of people who you know you're gonna just grow apart from. The worst part about that is getting punished for shit you didn't do. It's like, how are you gonna be mad at me when you can't get my name right? Like my mom comes in and she goes, who the fuck left these dishes in the sink? Who? Marla, was it you? I bet it was you. It was fucking you. I'm like, I've been gone all day. Don't you mean Cassandra? And she goes, oh yeah, that's right. You look nothing like Cassandra. Why'd I call you? Why'd I say it was you? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't ask you to have a basketball team's worth of kids. That's on you. That's why I only have 1 kid. All right, I am done. I don't know how people could just have a lot of children. Like I can't do it. I have 1 child and that shit was stressful enough. Like I am done. I told my gynecologist I wanted to get my tubes tied. Do you know what she told me? She told me that my body mass index is 36.25. So technically I'm morbidly obese, which whatever. And she goes, in order for us to schedule an appointment to get your tubes tied, you have to lose a little bit of weight. Also, based on your blood work, you are pre-diabetic and you have heart issues. It's like, do you want diabetes and your heart issues to kill you? And I looked at her and I said, you know what? Doesn't matter what kills me. I'm already dead inside. And yeah, that's in my charts. I can't do anything about that. Like that's in there. Yeah, I only have one child. My brother and his girlfriend just had a baby while I was at home. Like literally after the stabbing and after the robbery, my brother calls me. He goes, "Hey, Beth had a baby." I was like, "Oh my God, congratulations." They have a beautiful little girl, and I was so happy to see her. Actually, before I left Cleveland, I had told my brother, I was like, "Hey man, can I come over and hang out with you and Beth for a little bit?" So I did. And Beth was like, "Oh my God, the baby's kicking. You want to feel the baby?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I want to feel the baby." So I went and I felt the baby. And Phil's like, "Yo, bitch, what are you doing?" She means feel the baby from the outside. Get the fuck out of that shit like that. Like, I was like, "Well, I'm just trying to speed this process along. I mean, we ain't got all day." So yeah, my niece Morgan, she was born on March 16th. So I've been telling everybody that she was born on Stone Cold Steve Austin Day, and I've been telling everybody to send my brother text in large caps. I don't care how you do it, just hell yeah, as throughout the entire day. It has been almost a month, and my brother's like, "Can you please tell people to stop texting me hell yeah with pictures of Stone Cold Steve Austin going like this and shotgunning beers?" I was like, "Man, I can't. Once it's out there, that's up to everybody else to stop doing what they're doing." If you can't tell, I'm divorced. Anybody divorced in here? Nobody? Oh, everybody's just fucking happy and happy in little relationships and shit.
I'm divorced.
Oh yay, divorce gang, boom boom. So I've been divorced for about, what year is this? 2022. I've been divorced for 3 years. All right, but I was married for 3 years. We were together for 6 years, and I had known him for a total of 15 years. And that's a long ass time to know somebody. And, I constantly saw the red flags throughout every single aspect of our relationship, but I'm hard-headed. I'm a Virgo. I'm like, I can change him. No, you can't change somebody who doesn't want to change. Fuck that shit. Like, I used to be married. I was doing wife shit. I was cooking and cleaning and getting up at 4 a.m. and making sandwiches. Like, "Here you go, dear. Here's a sandwich. You have yourself a fantastic day. I love you so much." Only to find out that he and his coworkers were doing lines of coke off of some 19-year-old girl tits in the parking lot.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that was fucking wild. Like, I have to think about the last physical time I saw my ex-husband. I remember it was divorce court, and it was like one of the most stressful days of my life. Like, I want to throw up. I want to just freak out. And my mom's like, "That's okay, honey. I'll be here with you." I'm like,
Just
"Okay,
wanted
cool."
to tell you that this stupid alarm went off. I don't know if you heard it or not.
What is that?
But anyway, the lady said she's going to send.
Hello?
All right.
What was that? That wasn't me. Holy shit, I forgot what I was saying.
But you're
Oh, yeah, I was
divorced,
talking
you were in divorce court.
I was talking about being depressed, because that's what divorce does to you. So yeah, I told my mom, I was like, "No, it's okay, Mom. It's okay. Let me go ahead and just do all this shit." So I'm in divorce court, right? And divorce court is it's really just you, the person you're divorcing, and the judge. That's all that there is to it. I'm signing my paperwork, cross my T's and dot my I's. And my ex-husband looks at me. He goes, "I'm so fucking glad this is over. Like, this was the worst experience of my life. You were constantly like a splinter to me. You got underneath my skin and you were painful to deal with. I'm so fucking glad this is over." And I'm like, whoa, that's pretty heavy, man. Like, that, you're gonna drop that on me right now in this courtroom? Okay, well, you are a Sauvignon Blanc. And before I can even finish, he interrupts me, looks at the judge and goes, "Oh yeah, she's saying that because I've aged like a fine wine." And I'm like, "No, man, I'm saying that because you leave a dry, chalky taste in my mouth and you're white. Go fuck yourself. I'm done." And I just promptly left the courtroom. So yeah, the interracial relationships were a thing. But here's something I learned. Like, we taught each other things, and we learned a lot from each other in the whole 6 years of being together. I taught him about the importance of Black Lives Matter and how to properly season chicken. And like, he taught me about filing taxes and showing up to places on time. So it was a win-win. Yes. But here's the thing about marriage. Like, I feel like marrying a white man will not improve your FICO score. It did nothing for me. My credit score was 180. It is still 180. Like, And I think the second thing that I've learned about this marriage, and I think this is more important than the first, is that clearly you just can't turn a hoe into a housewife. All right. I just oh shit all day. So like so I'm single. I love being single. That means I can have sex with whoever I want, right? I mean, I was doing that shit when I was married too, but now I don't feel bad about it. So it's like, yay, freedom. So I'm on all the dating websites. I hate every last fucking one of them. I'm on Tinder right now. Tinder needs to be called Swipe White. There's a lot of Caucasian. Way too many Caucasian men out. Do you know what it's like having to swipe left 35 times before you find a brother on that app? I had to look closer. It was my actual brother. So I had to swipe left another 35 times. I was like, oh, no. No, sir. Yeah. I had a guy message me, and this is a real thing. I wish I could show it to you, but he's since deleted his profile. He sent me a message saying, I think you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen on this app. I knew it was a lie and I knew it was a trap, but I still fell for it anyway. And I go to his page and I'm looking at his pictures. Oh my God, this man is beautiful. He's gorgeous. He's tall, dark hair, green eyes, just light complexion. I'm like, man, you're a pretty dude. And then I made the mistake of reading his bio. In his bio, it said in large caps, I don't know how you can get all caps on your Tinder profile, but he managed to do it. And it said in all caps, it said, I love chocolate women. And it had like 6 candy bar emojis and then a bunch of Black woman faces looking like the cover of a Drake album. Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't have red flag emojis up there because that's all that was. And so I was like, ooh, okay. And so I sent him a message and said, hey man, thanks for your kind words, I guess. But listen, if you want some chocolate, please go to CVS or Walgreens because you need yourself a Snickers. You're not you when you're hungry. I'm not that type of snack. Blocked. Had to block them. That's some creepy shit. Like, men, do you guys not like get together and sit down and like, hey man, how are we fucking up today? How can we fix this? Like, guys say weird shit to me. All right, look, so this is my hat, right? So my hair, I cut all my hair off, right? I cut it all off when I was in quarantine on New Year's Eve because I had COVID and I was bored, right? So I cut all my hair off and my hair was just, it was down to the nubs. It was smooth, right? And I hated it at first, but after like 3 days, it kind of grew on me. I was like, all right, cool. So maybe about a week afterwards, I'm walking to work. I don't have a hat on. And somebody drives past me. They're like, hey, I like the shape of your head. And then he drove off. And I'm like, okay. I was like, all right, well, that wasn't all that bad. So I'm stopped. I'm standing waiting to cross a crosswalk. And a guy pulls up next to me. He's a white guy. He goes, hey, your head looks like my scrotum. And then he drove off like, now, I wasn't even mad because I'm like, dude, you are a white man and your scrotum looks like my dark ass black head. You have way more problems that you need to address than you being an undercover racist. All right. I think you need to contact Lance Armstrong. You need one of those Live Strong bracelets, my guy. Dude, I can't. Like my head looked like a peanut M&M, I guess, without the shell on it. It was weird. It was weird. Men are weird. Like I feel like I need to like expand my horizons and not just date men. I am willing to date women, but the kind of women I'm attracted to are women like me, and I am like the worst fucking person in the world. So I'm like, how can I date someone who is like me but isn't me? Because I'm not high maintenance, but I also won't allow you to take me to McDonald's. You know, like I don't want you to buy me jewelry, but like I do want you to buy me stuff, even if I have my own money. It's just nice to watch you spend your money on something that you care about, aka me. And I get to save my money so I can spend my money on something I care about, aka me. So, you know, like it's not that hard. Oh my gosh. What else can I tell you about myself? So right now I'm a server. I serve at a restaurant called Buffalo Wild Wings. I work near the airport, and I do love my job. I love my job, but it's a sports bar, okay? And I love sports. I really truly do. I don't think it's the kind of restaurant that you should bring kids to. Don't bring your kids to a sports restaurant. Don't bring your kids to restaurants, especially if they don't know how to fucking act.
Thank you.
Listen,
Thank you.
when I tell you, I have had I've had kids just run around the table and just slap me, and the parents are like, "Oh yeah, he's so precocious." I'm like, I'm about to beat his precocious ass. All right, like you need to. Can you do something about this? Like every time I hear a child just absolutely losing their shit in a restaurant, just screaming, throwing temper tantrums. I watched a kid take a full plate of wings and throw it at his mom. And I just looked, I was like, ooh, and I just feel my ovaries just dry up like a raisin.
Yeah.
Like that's the real dream deferred right there. I am like I can't, I'm not the kind of person that's gonna be like, yo, you need to tell your kids to, sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up. But if your kid is running around the restaurant and they fucking clap themselves on the end of a table and then they fall down and start crying and I start laughing, I still better get that fucking tip. The kids fucking throwing up in the corner and throwing up shit that we don't even serve. Hot dogs? When did your kid eat hot dogs? It is 11 o'clock in the morning. The fuck are you eating your kids? I don't know. I know I keep talking about kids a lot and I do love kids. But I like the fact that if I ever have to watch anybody's kids, I can just load them up on sugar and then send them home, and that'll be my brothers and sisters' problems. Like there you go. There you go. Like I said, I have a child. So my son's an adult. He's 20 years old. All right. And when I tell people this, they're like, how do you have a 20-year-old child? I was like, because I pushed the baby out when I was 14. And they're like, I was like, it was 2002, you dumbasses. All right, there you go. And so my son looks exactly like me. Like, save for he's 6 foot tall, 200 pounds, full of muscle, but he literally has my face. And people will say he's my brother. They'll say he's my older brother because he's fucking taller than me. I had to pick him up from school. And I go into the school. This was a few years ago. I go into the school and I'm trying to figure out where the office is, because he's in one of those specialty schools where like they had programs on each floor. It's like 3 floors. So one was civic and business, science and technology, and early college. So I had to figure out how to get to the civic and business building. And I'm walking around and I just have on a jacket and blue jeans. And the security guard is like, "Where are you going? Why aren't you in class?" I'm like, "I don't go to school here." What are you talking about? I was like, "Why aren't you in school?" I'm like, "I graduated in 2005. Can you please just direct me to the civic and business building?" Go to the civic and business building. I'm picking my son up and there's like a bunch of kids in the hall and they're like, "Jordan, you have 2 sisters?" And Jordan's like, "No, I don't have any sisters." "Well, what about that one over there?" "That's my aunt." His aunt is a year ahead of him. And so my little sister Natasha, she comes to the office. She goes, "Oh, you picking up Jordan? You want to pick me up too?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So we're in the office, and for some reason, people are confused about our family dynamic. They're like, "Okay, so she's your aunt, but this is your mom, and they're sisters. But how does that fucking work?" I'm like, "Oh my god, you guys are in school to learn this shit. You should know how this shit works. Do you know how a family tree works?" Oh my god. Yeah, no. You know what's crazy? What's crazy is that in theory, my son could go and get a girl pregnant right now, and I can have a grandchild by Christmas. Isn't that fucking wild? It blows my fucking mind. But I don't want to be a 35-year-old grandmother. So I told him, I said, "Listen, dude, if you are going to be having sex with a girl, wrap it up. Every single time, wrap it up. I don't care if she says she's on the patch, the pill, the shot. I don't care if she says she don't have a uterus. I don't care. Wrap it up. Wrap that shit up." And he goes, oh, okay, cool. I mean, I don't have a girlfriend right now. I'm like, who said you had to have a girlfriend? You're 20 years old. Be on your hoe shit. That's what I did. And my son looked at me with a quickness. He goes, "You were on your hoe shit, or are you still on your hoe shit?" Like, okay, well, to be fair, I'm still on my hoe shit. So yeah, no, I don't want no grandkids right now. That would be weird. Can you imagine? Can you imagine like a 5-year-old showing up at school? It's like, yeah, my daddy does this, but my grandma, she's a stand-up comedian. She tells jokes about sucking dick and hating cops. Like, I don't want to get that. I don't want to get that phone call. Oh my God. Oh man. Let's see. What else can I tell you? I basically told y'all my whole goddamn life story. Actually, no, I did not. So you guys are probably wondering how I am so personable and approachable and shit like that. Like I'm just a cool ass person. And that's why every single thing I do, like any kind of job I get, like I always like working with people. Before I moved here to Portland, I was an emergency medical technician. I hung out with the police, fire, EMS all day long. So can y'all thank me for my service? I don't can y'all thank me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now that I got all that stolen valor, I get to tell you I didn't deal with any of the gunshots or car accidents or any of that shit. None of it. No. What I did is I would go to the ER and I would pick up your mama or your papa and I would take them back to the nursing home because they were in the ER because they need their meds adjusted because they're biting everybody in the nursing home. Go visit your mama and papa. They are very lonely. Just go do that for me. Just do me that favor. Also, here's the thing about elderly people. I don't understand where they get their weird ass Herculean strength from. Like you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Has anybody ever been hit in the face by a 92-year-old woman? Yeah, no, where do they get that strength? Like you're telling me if you sneeze too hard, you're gonna break 2 ribs, but all of a sudden you're off of your Ativan and you can fucking break my jaw? Get the fuck out of here. You're all the way the fuck out of here. Yeet. So we had this patient, and it's okay. There's no HIPAA violation because I don't remember this man's name, but he was an old man, really, really old man, and we were taking him from the hospital down to the hospice of the Western Reserve so he can live out his final days. Now it's me and my paramedic partner in the hospital room with him, and so I introduced myself to the patient. I'm saying, "Hi, my name is Marla. This is Jack, the paramedic. We have your whole, crew of people behind you. We had his family, his kids, his grandkids, great-grandkids, great-great-grandkids. Then we had the doctors, the oncologists, a couple of anesthesiologists, and a bunch of nurses in there. So there was like 30 people packed into this tiny ass fucking room for this one ancient skeletal looking man, just staring, with these big ass blue eyes. It was the creepiest shit in the world. So I said to him, I said, listen, my job is to make sure that you are comfortable and well rested from here back to the hospice of the Western Reserve. If there's anything I could do for you, please just let me know. And this man, this probably 60-pound man, looking like a skeleton, piercing blue eyes, looked at me, pointed a finger at me, and he screamed, "Get this nigger out of my fucking face."
Oh my God.
Everybody starts crying. People are freaking out. My paramedic partner, he's turning red. Everybody's freaking out. And I'm just standing there. I'm like, okay, cool. And his family, his whole family, his daughter runs over to me and she's holding my hand. She goes, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Please still just take our papaw to the hospice. We are so sorry. We don't know why he would say something like this. We are so sorry." So I walked over to the end of the bed and I picked up his chart and I was like, oh, his last name's Hitlerberg. That makes sense. Yeah, just like that joke, their EMT was too dark for them, so I ended up getting reassigned. All right, you guys have been great. That's it for me. You guys have a good night. Bye.
Thank you.
Let's keep it going for Marla. That was great. Marla, as far as the dating apps go, I've learned one very important thing that you need to know if you're dating a Black woman. There's 2 things you should never say. 1, that you're unemployed, and 2, that you don't eat chocolate.
Oh my God.
Oh.
I just got it. Okay, that's it.
Marla, if you could put your social media stuff in the chat so that if anybody wants to follow you, that would be great.
That'd be great.
So I want to thank everybody. This is a great show. And Lise, you need to come back to every one of our shows. We need your laugh at everyone.
I will, because again, a former frontline worker, I need laughter.
And Desiree, just get one of those camp folding chairs. Just have it around so that when you have somebody,
Yeah.
just we put ramps up for you. You need to have folding chairs. Or let them. Do you have an old wheelchair that they can use?
Yeah, I
She
do.
still won't let me sit in her wheelchair despite knowing her for like 15 years.
It's true.
Well, this was a blast. You guys had great sets. I was laughing my butt off. Marla, thank you for coming. Desiree, Thomas had to leave early, regretfully.